Hi everyone, and by everyone I mean Cody, since you're the only one in the room. Okay, so this is the national support session for assignment 2. So first things first, let Soma go to the assignment. Please make sure, let me just double check my settings. All right. Okay, I'm recording and my sound is active. The first thing is getting your assignment. Guys, please make sure that you complete the correct assignment. And maybe let me start from scratch and not speak while I do this, because some people did. There are people that have completed the incorrect assignment, okay? So obviously we know now where the student intranet is. We're gonna go to student material, IIE student materials, and then if for you guys as students, I think you don't have to search the right code or right folder will already appear as per the modules that you registered for. However, if you have to search, please make sure that you search for the code W, because if you remember in your pairs, maybe let's also get the pairs. Let me download a pairs just to show you what exactly I am talking about. Pairs, you will get it at Commerce, School of Management, Bachelor of Entrepreneurship distance, not full-time, and then program assessment schedule 2024, of course, and term 2. And then in term 2, you will find here is the program assessment schedule. So let's download that, or let's just open it actually. So when we open it, we will see that, try 200, yes, perfect. Okay, so when we go to the module that is ours, that's Entrepreneurship 5112, Assignment 2, which is what we are interested in, is due on the 23rd of October. So while I'm doing that, let me also open up a document and make notes as I go. So ENTR5112. So the first thing that we needed is the program assessment schedule, the pairs for the assignment date. And that assignment date, according to that, is the 23rd of October. That's actually my friend's birthday, for any of you that care. Does not matter at all. It doesn't change your life in any way. Yeah, so that's the first thing that you need to be mindful of. Please make sure that you submit well within time. In case you need to check your similarity. So your similarity. Okay, so when you need to avoid plagiarism after you submit, I think you guys are still using Safe Assign. Make sure that your similarity, you're not copying and pasting directly from any place, etc. Yeah, so that's in the program assessment schedule. What I wanted to show you guys is, let me close this. What's this? Okay, this is still the MO. What I wanted to show you guys in the program assessment schedule is also the fact that your program, where's the top? Yeah, your qualification, your program code. Some people have asked me, what is your program code? The program code is what you see here in the program assessment schedule. Then what I was talking about was also making sure that you download, ensure you download the correct assignment. Because like I said, people have downloaded the incorrect assignment, and like we say with the module code, ensure that the module code ENTR E5112 with the W, please, because you will see also in the program assessment schedule, if we go back to it, sorry. the codes that you guys are doing, because you're distance students, have the W. So when you go and get your assignment, right, we were looking for the W. So we enter that folder. We go to 2024. Then you will see there's also a W. Please always make sure that there's a W, so that is the distance module and the distance assignment that you are doing. Yeah. I had to stress that expressly, because some people did complete the incorrect assignment for assignment 1. So then we've got our assignment, and I think I have it open here. No, I don't. I had downloaded it though, so let me do that. Download it. There we go. Oh, it was already open. Oh, it's a Word document. So you will see there are another thing. The assignment code is the correct one there as per the W. It's assignment 2. 100 marks takes you about 10 hours to complete. We already know the instructions and that you should actually read them. These are the policies that you need to make sure that you are not in contravention of. Some of you will have been flagged for plagiarism in assignment 1, and then now you know that we don't play around in assignment 2. And that brings me to another important thing. But anyway, besides that, you make sure that you read the instructions, the academic honesty declaration. So academic make sure that you answer all the questions, and that will make the assignment link available for you. So for due diligence and for the sake of trying to motivate academic integrity, let's actually go through these. We know them, but it is important that you guys know them. Please complete the academic honesty declaration below. And it's not just here that you have to complete it. We obviously know that in your module on VC Learn, when you go to your submission links, etc., let me see which module is this. Yes, entrepreneurship. And if you go to the academic honesty declaration, here you go into it and you'll complete basically all the questions. So like I say, please make sure that you click all the questions. If you miss any of these questions, it will not let you complete or submit the assignment. So the questions are as follows. Or the statement, I have read the assessment rules provided in this declaration. This assessment is my own work. So please, guys, do not collaborate. Do not collaborate your answers with other students. Again, this is something that happened, because then what happens is 2 students will have the exact same answers. When you guys submit, your plagiarism or your similarity, the safe assigned similarity, ends up being a lot. And then I can always tell when I mark, I can remember, oh, but I marked something exactly. This other student said exactly that. I go and look for that student. I find it. Turns out your work is the same. You guys get flagged for plagiarism. So please make sure this is an individual assignment. So your answers do need to be independent and from yourself only. I have not copied any other student's work in this assessment. I have not uploaded this assessment question to any website. So these are those websites that give you the answers. I have not downloaded my assessment response from a website. Things like ChatGPT, for instance, or whatever website that you would, look at and copy and paste from there. I have not used any AI tool without reviewing, rewriting, and reworking this information and referencing any AI tools in my work. So in other words, if I use AI, I need to reference it in my work. And when I do use it, I will review, I will rewrite, and rework the information that it gives you. So you will not just copy and paste straight from AI. You will read what it says and it'll inspire you to come up with a better answer. And that's exactly then what you will do. I have not shared this assessment with any other student, and you will see it says this assessment is my own work. I have not copied. So remember the collaboration that I was talking about. This is where it also relates. I have not presented the work of published sources as my own work. So in other words, when you get asked a question, right? And if we can quickly just go to the assignment. Oh, let me close this before I show things I'm not supposed to show. Okay, so if we're on the assignment, right, let's say we look for a question. Question says, discuss the importance of the business plan, right? So if we go to the importance of the business plan, what you're gonna do is you're gonna copy, and then you're gonna go to your website or your internet sources, your academic sources. So wherever it is that you find your answer, if it's your textbook, wherever you find the answer, you have to reference it. In other words, you do not present it as your own work. You do present it as somebody else's work, because that is where you got the inspiration for the answers from. And then you have not correctly, or have not correctly cited, I have correctly, cited all my sources of information. So if you went to the website or whatever and you searched, you made sure that it's the correct, well, that you sourced your information. There's one note that I need to put here, and this is something I'm going to go through. What is a quality source? And I'm going to answer that question now, because a lot of you guys were struggling with getting high quality answers for your assignment. Okay, so then after we've read the declaration answers, or the declaration questions, I have not presented the work of published sources as my own work. I have correctly cited the sources of information that I've used from other people. So with regards to that citing, I will tell you then what is a quality source of information. And then my referencing is technically correct, consistent, and congruent. This you will know as well. If you do not incorrect, let's say what, incorrect referencing technique equals, let's call it minor or major referencing errors, and that equals to a penalty. So you will see, some of you guys will see that you had written in your assignment, whatever your mark was, because of the minor and major referencing techniques that you guys had, you will then get minus marks, and this can be minus 5% to 10%. That's a lot of marks to lose. Imagine if you get 59% and then you have to get minus 10% for major referencing errors, and then you lose all these marks. It's really not worth it, guys. Please. And that brings us to the next insight. Use the IIE, and what is it called? And maybe let's go and fetch it while we are here. Again, VC intranet, and this time we're going to the library, then eShelf. Then in eShelf, EBSCOhost would be where you get your textbook, remember? So here we are looking for referencing and plagiarism. Click on the icon. Then we are looking for the IIE reference guide. So you will see it's the Harvard style reference guide adapted for the IIE. This is the one that we use. So you need to make sure that when you reference, you use this particular referencing source. So you guys will see that's where we determine what marks you get, what marks you don't get. With regards to using this, all you need to know is page 3. Somebody once taught me that. They said you go to page 3 and you will see that page 3, here it is, It is the table of contents. So a lot of you guys, you would use maybe a website. So if you go to a website, for instance, it shows you how to reference a website. So here it's World Health Organization. It's a website without a name. All you then have to do is, you can see this is the name of the website. You then complete the name of the website. Here we've got a full stop. Then you put a full stop. There's a space. You put in a space. 2015. Some of you guys would put in brackets. Can you see there are no brackets here? So if you put in brackets, you wouldn't automatically lose marks or get penalized. Who calls for on countries to protect health from climate change? This obviously is the article name, or the name of the article, comma, the date, and this is the date that you, or the date that the article is written. And then you would have found it what? Online. So online in square brackets. And maybe let me zoom in, because this is on a laptop screen or a desktop screen. Yeah, online within square brackets, online, full stop, available at colon space and then the website. Please guys, when you reference, and I've seen this a lot, when you reference your reference, think of your reference. Let's say, think of your reference as a paragraph. Paragraph. So in other words, do not skip lines. What other students do is, and let me give you an example of that. Let me copy and paste this and just show you what other students would do, right? If let's say this was your reference as a student, what other students do is they will say available at, you know, like, no, don't, please don't do that. Don't skip a line. Or they'll say maybe something like available at, and then they'll put the website here. Please do not skip a line. If you see it's a full stop, which means this is one sentence, right? Then you have who calls what, there's another sentence. Then online, that's another sentence. Available at, all the way until accessed, when you access the article, that's another sentence. So this is a paragraph. Do not skip lines, please. Okay, where was I? All right, so I was at the IIE library. Please make sure that you reference correctly so that you avoid losing marks. And then after making sure that your referencing is technically correct, consistent, and congruent, then you have also acted in an academically honest way in this assignment. Please, guys, ensure that you do not copy, ensure that you do not get flagged for plagiarism. With plagiarism, or in fact with referencing, and maybe I should make a note of that. Referencing just lets the reader know where you got your information from. So if we make an example of where did you get your info example, right? And let's maybe use this World Health Organization. And I'll also go to what is a quality source, but for now, let's use this SOMA, this World Health Organization, as where you got your information from. So I don't know what you were. Please don't tell me this link does not work. Let's go to this original source. No. Okay, that's embarrassing. Okay, so let's look for another world. Well, okay, let's make an example. Maybe let's ask, the question is, what is entrepreneurship, right? You search for entrepreneurship, and then you look at a good quality source. So I will not stop until it's a good quality source. And in fact, because I want a good quality source, I'm going to go to Google Scholar. Forget about all of this websiting. Let's go to Google Scholar, entrepreneurship. And maybe you're looking for the definition. right? Or actually, let's make it interesting, because your example in the assignment was about a business plan. Importance of a business plan, the importance of a good business plan. Nice. So here we are in Google Scholar. We can already see, and what's nice about Google Scholar is that once if you come to cite, you can see, you can already have the citation, right? And but then make sure whatever the citation, can you see APA, for instance? It's got the brackets. So if you're using brackets, it means that you're using APA, right? We're using Harvard, but not only Harvard, we're using Harvard, the IIE is Harvard. So when you copy your reference, ensure that the principles that are in the IIE Harvard reference guide are still adhered to. So for instance, that would be a journal article, right? So again, going back to your page 3, okay, it's a bit too zoomed in now. Sorry, went to the wrong thing. Page 3, we said journal article, and this is a journal article that is obtained from an online database or a website. Google Scholar is an online database. So here we go, journal article obtained from an online database. We've got the surname, we've got the year, full stop, quantitative, thematic, that's the title, then the name of the journal, and can you see the name of the journal is in italics. So this is the type of detail that you need to use for these. So then you will have the edition, and what is it, volume and edition or something, volume and I forget what else, and then these are the page numbers, and then online, because you got it online, DOI, which is if you do have that. Otherwise, then the website, can you see, here's the one where they use DOI. If you don't use DOI, then you can use the website link, and then when you accessed it, etc. So yeah, we've got here our example. What was I trying to do? Let me check quickly. Yeah, so now the question was, what is a good business plan, right? To get your answer, you look on Google Scholar. Here we've already got Lynn, whatever, Lynn and what? Nunn and McGuire. Their citation, there it is. You would just copy Harvard, right? And then besides that, to get to the article, you just click on the link here. They say, so for instance, they say the business plan is the product of a strategic thinking process. The strategic direction developed in that process can be communicated in the form of a business plan to leaders, potential investors, and associates within your company. So for instance, what is the purpose of a business plan? To communicate to your leaders, potential investors, right? So this is an answer that you got from Nunn and McGuire. So when you're referencing, all you're saying is, I did not come up with this answer. I got this answer from this person, but you put it in your own words, because if you copy and paste, you're plagiarizing, you're stealing somebody's words, whereas you have to paraphrase, and paraphrasing is another key thing that you have to look out for. So 10, paraphrase and correctly, please. So please do not be shy to reference every time you get asked every question, for instance. So let's go to the assignment. If we look at the questions that have been asked, right? Here are your questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 references, because for every question that you get asked, you can go and look for a reference. And a quality reference, guys, Google Scholar, or like with EBSCOhost that you have here on the school's website. So yeah, please do not be shy to reference. There's really no shame in referencing. The same referencing also applies when it comes to AI. So AI usage, and we already used, I read it in the declaration, also needs to be referenced. So if you used ChatGPT, I like to use it to paraphrase, to help me with paraphrasing. So when I use it, then it means I also have to declare that, listen, I use ChatGPT to structure my sentences or whatever it is that I would have used it for. So yeah, after you're done with that, we were then back at the assignment. So then technical referencing, I have acted in an academic way. I've already touched on it. Referencing rubric, this just lets you know that if you reference, you can, what is it? If you don't do proper referencing, you can get deducted marks between 5 and 10%. And then you're required to conduct further research. Guys, the importance of this is that, remember, like I said, with every question that they ask you, you would have different references. That means that for every answer that you get, go and find the answer. So conducting further research, that would mean if you now looked at this article, right, that talks about the importance of a good business plan. Look at what another thing that Lunn and McGuire say. They say it allows your business to leverage the knowledge and competence of its management team, staff, and advisors to help to develop a strategic direction for the organization that will lead to its best chance for success. This is you now getting further information. Nowhere in your textbook does it put it this way, that this is what the importance of a business plan is. So going further to read beyond your textbook, it enriches your answers. Hence, it is so important for you to read further, to research further. But then what I would also like to say is, when you do that, make sure that you always use, always refer to your prescribed textbook as well, because you will then be able to see, but if my textbook is saying this and this author is saying that, do you see? Then you can also then say, Niven Hazen, who's the textbook writer, right? Niven Hazen says the importance of a business plan is this and that and that, but Lynn and what's his name, Nunn and McGuire, they say the importance of a business plan is this and that and that. The answers are complementary. What the one answers, the other completes it in a better way, or maybe they are clashing in terms of what they are saying. Then you would then be able to say, but can you see the knowledge is clashing? So it just enriches you to research further. Hence, you will see that people that normally reference will get better marks because their argument is much more informed. It's not just regurgitating what is in your textbook. Yes, in the textbook they say these are the 5 or 6 or whatever terms of the business plan, but if you read further, then you get more poetic answers from other people. And I mean, if you look at this article, the business plan format, remember we even have a business plan format, right? And we know that they like to ask us about the business plan format. We've been asked that question before, and you can then reference Nunn and McGuire. And then another thing that this book, like you see table of contents, executive summary, this is literally what is also in our textbook. So you can say, Lynn and McGuire, they also agree with Niven Hazen that, this is the content of a business plan. So it just makes you sound so much more informed. And then as I go through these, I want to see what else is captured in there. See, like things like application of funds. You might not necessarily find that information in the textbook, but now here you have it. And guys, another thing is, if you just look at the headings will literally help you to see what's in there. So can you see we've gone through the whole article, and we know now that this article is literally the contents of a business plan. Now the summary, we're done. So that's all. That means you've read an article within 5 minutes just by skimming this article. That means you've read it because you know what is in there, and you can then take away the most important parts from it. And then another thing is, if you're going to read an article and the abstract, that's where you can start and end. I mean, look here, we already found one sentence that said, you know, what is a business plan is all about. But then we also have here another sentence that talks about what a business plan is all about. So that's already 2 sentences. So please, guys, it's not a lot for you to just read a peer-reviewed journal article, and that's another thing. Ensure use EBSCOhost or Google Scholar for your references. And peer-reviewed. And if it's, let's say, if it's information, if let's say, for instance, they say the importance of a business plan, if it's information, and maybe information is the wrong word, or maybe let's call it facts, if I can call it that as well, make sure that it is peer-reviewed. What does peer-reviewed mean? It means that when you write an article, another professor or a doctor, an expert in the field that you are writing in, if you're writing about an entrepreneurship, an expert in the field of entrepreneurship, this would probably be a professor or a doctor, somebody with a PhD. They then read your article and can verify, according to the statements that you've made and the references that you have used, that your work is really believable. What you have proven in your article is fact. So hence it needs to be peer reviewed. So if you, for instance, you look at the same topic, right? We say business plan importance. If you just look on any random website, look at this wave. First of all, what the hell is wave? You know what I mean? So it's not, I'm already not even believing like how what do you call it? Accurate or proven it is. And look at this, it's also a blog. There's nothing wrong with referencing a blog, right? Well, there's nothing wrong with having a blog. Let me put it this way: there's nothing wrong with having a blog, but a blog is just literally your insights, your opinion, etc. Whereas a peer-reviewed journal article, this is more facts, because in an article usually you will find a hypothesis that you have to prove, and after doing the research you go out, you take out questionnaires, you ask them questions, they come back. That's called empirical research. So these are empirically proven facts, whereas a blog is just somebody else's opinion. So if you go into it, another thing that I don't like about these websites, number one, there is no author, there is no date, right? So who wrote this? Can we believe it? Okay, Jared, at least, all right. January 2022, not bad. Entrepreneurship. What is a business plan? But again, I wouldn't trust this, because what is Wave? What is Wave apps? I would go to a trusted source, such as a Google Scholar. That I know, an EBSCOhost, it's academically inclined. I mean, we are in a school, hence our level of research and application needs to be on this level. All right, yeah, conduct further research. You have to have a minimum of 2 scientific journals, writing requirements. This is an essay, a word essay, word count. I never really consider the word count. What is important for me really is you expressing yourself. I don't read and count how many words. I just read what you're trying to say, and that's more important to me. So you really don't have to worry about that with me. And therefore, it means that this doesn't apply. I can get into trouble for this one. I do not mind. For me, it's more important that my students express themselves, and hence I can mark them and give them marks. And then the assignment topic to me, Cody, you're in the room. You were saying by the end of this, you guys will have car washes. Yes, sir. Because you've just been covering Dumi and her car wash. Yeah, so she did market research, she developed a business plan, she works on sustainable practices, operational efficiency, marketing strategy, and consumer centricism. Then in your assignment, without giving you guys the answers, you guys have to discuss the importance of a business plan. I've already shown you how it is that you can get answers, right? But for me, where I would start with every question that I get asked, I would start with the textbook. So me, I've got EBSCOhost, I've got a shortcut to EBSCOhost. So let's go to the textbook because it's just important for me to know that you know where the textbook is. So entrepreneurship, an African perspective. Here it is, the third one, full text. And I mean, using the textbook is so easy because on the left-hand side, you will have a table of contents or a navigation page, which just helps with everything. There's also a search button. So if you're the shortcut kind of person, that one is definitely for you. All right. So if we're looking at what the business plan, here we go, chapter 5, the business plan. The purpose and principles of a business plan, and here that's what we were looking for, right? So we're gonna go to the heading, the purpose and principles. You see here they say the purpose and principles of a business plan. Let's see what the question is actually and make sure that we are accurate. Yeah, discuss the importance of the business plan, and they talk about the relevant stakeholders. And I mean, look at our article, the article that we already found. The importance of a business plan, they already covered it here. The strategic direction developed in that process can then be communicated in the form of a business plan to leaders, potential investors, and associates within your company. So we already see, so you already can say Les Nunn and Brian McGuire, they say that the stakeholders are lenders, potential investors, and associates. But now, and this is where the danger of using an external source comes in. And hence, I always say, please make sure that you always, and let me stress this one, always, where's the always? Always refer to your prescribed textbook. Because look at this, and let me put it in bold. Let me do undo, and then let me put it in bold, and then like this. The reason why is because if you go to your textbook, right, the blueprint, we're looking at the business plan, right? We're looking for the stakeholders. So because here we can't see it, we'll have to literally search for them. They are somewhere in here. So let's go look at who they say the stakeholders. Look at your source, your textbook. According to your textbook, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sources or stakeholders. So do you see why it's always important to come to your textbook? Because you go, like, can I close this because it's a bad source? So because yes, this is a good source, we don't have a problem with that, but they only mention 1, 2, 3 stakeholders, whereas your textbook mentions 5 stakeholders. Hence, you have to discuss all 5. So that's why I always say, always make sure that you use or refer to your textbook as well, because as much as McGuire says these are the 3, but you know that Nevenhuizen has a much more comprehensive list, and you can even say that McGuire, according to McGuire and whatever, the stakeholders of a business plan or are the lenders, potential investors, and associates. However, Nevenhuizen builds further and has a much more comprehensive list, which includes suppliers, private investors, employees. You see, they are much more detailed. And these are the ones that you will have to discuss, because if you're going to discuss these 3, you're not going to get your full marks. Do you understand? So it's important to reference, but always also important, according to me, to also refer to your textbook. Yeah, and then, yeah, so then when you get your answer, you reference, I've already shown you guys where to get your good references, and then explain the importance of developing a business model. Again, you can do the same way that we did with a business plan. Where is our EBSCO, our Google Scholar? Okay, let's go, Google Scholar. You see these things, they're already shortcuts for me because I use them a lot. What are we looking for? Business model, né? Let me double check. The importance of developing a business model. And we can copy that statement and paste it here. The importance of developing a business model, the importance of classification to business model research, developing a unified framework for the business model concept. So you can already see here, like if you look at this and look at this one. Oh, I actually saw someone that, another one that I liked more, a business model view of strategy, business model innovation opportunities and barriers, business model innovation, how to design a winning business model. And you see, this is more in line with what you are wanting, because they are talking about what? Developing the envelope, yeah, and then it talks about the same developing it. So here they're gonna tell you strategies, the what. So it's obviously for strategy purposes, right? You will read and you will find out, oh yeah, this is what, and whoever ever is, and mang here it would be Ramon Casadeas Masanel and Joan E. Ricard, right? Again, you're gonna compare it again with what Neven Hazen said, because bet you that they're not going to say the same things. I mean, look at here, they're talking about the business model. Here they're saying it's for value creation, right, for the value proposition. And under that, you've got customer services, it's for efficiency, and all the other subheadings that are in there, right? And so you would then discuss that, and you would compare it to what Bo Casadea and them are saying. So yeah, it just goes back again to, you know, just making sure that when you reference, you don't just rely on your textbook, or even external sources. So it's bad to only rely on your textbook. It's safe, you'll pass, but you won't get the best marks, because the best marks would be if you then start comparing and start using true sources of information. And then describe the legal requirements and labor legislation that is relevant to Tumi's entrepreneurial venture. Also, again, we can start with your textbook, setting up legal requirements, setting up businesses. That's where the legal requirements are, duties and legal requirements of a business, perform specific legal requirements. You see, this whole section talks about the legal requirements. So here you can find all your answers. Again, you would search the same way that I did on Google Scholar or EBSCOhost for a relevant article that would be talking about the same thing. So by the time you're done with your assignment, you will probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sources, 7 if we count your textbook as well. So yeah, it's just a matter of doing it. So easy. Dumi is planning to expand her business. Dumi is planning to expand the business to another city. So then this is factors that, setting up factors. Again, guys, I'm not going to search for it, but again, you can search for it in your book, search for it in other sources on Google Scholar, etc. And then describe the entrepreneurial skills, competencies, knowledge, etc., etc. What I do also want to say is, please always use, and this one I'll say please because I really am begging you, please always use the year method. Did I share it with you guys? Maybe I actually need to share that, upload it. Let me check on your module, more resources. Leave. More resources 2.0. Nothing. So let me make a note that I must upload the Lear method for you guys. And what that talks about, it's basically that thing, the what is it? It's not a thing. It's a method that I developed for answering theory questions. So when you have a question, guys, always list the theory. So for instance, if we go back to our business plan, right, we will say that, where's that article? Did I close it? Wait. Okay, I think I closed it. Yeah, let's use this article for then. So this, oh, here it is. What's this? Yeah, the importance of a good business plan. And remember, they ended up talking about the content of a business plan, right? So if let's say the question was, what are the contents of a business plan? You will say these are the contents, right? one is this, but you can't just say the contents of a business plan are table page, title page, table of contents, executive summary. You will say it's a table of contents. Then you will explain, and that's the step 2 of the Lear method. Then you will explain what the table of contents means. You will provide an example, and then you will provide an additional resource. So the same applies for everything. If you talk about an executive summary, you will say the executive summary is basically an amalgamation of all the important facts that are all in the business plan. But obviously, you're not going to put it in. You're going to put it in your own words, but you will have found the answer from somebody, right? Business description, all of them. Please, guys, do not merely list. And let me say that upload the Lear method. Please always use the method. Do not merely list the theory. You also need to explain it in your own words and provide an example. Then if you want to go beyond and get a distinction from that, you will get an additional resource. Let's say plus an additional resource. So that's basically the Lear method. That's how you answer a question in a comprehensive way that will make sure that you get a distinction for every attempt that you make in answering your question. And then another important thing, please, and this one I'm going to put it in a huge font, refer to the, and let's say also always. This is also another always. Always refer to the rubric. And I'll put an exclamation mark there, because the reason why the rubric is so important is because that's where your mark allocation is, right? So when we look at the assignment, looking at question 1, explain the importance of a business plan. If you are going to get an 80%, what you will have done is you will have a well-structured and concise explanation on the importance of the business plan. So you will have explained, this is what a business plan is, and this is what is important about the business plan, right? Then you will also tell us how who the relevant stakeholders are according to McMahon and McGuire, blah, 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 right? And then you also show a high level of understanding the interaction with theory, additional readings, which I've already covered, right? Referencing, which is that additional reading, and research that justifies the student's rationale. So in other words, what they are saying is, if you would go and use your textbook and you would go and use the additional article that adds on to the information that your textbook reads, that's what they're basically saying you are doing when you exceed the required standard. That's how you will get a distinction, okay? If all you're going to do is use the textbook, chances are you will end up in this category where you will get between 7 to 12 marks out of a question out of 15. So if for every question, you look at the question mark and you decide, and that's how I also mark. So please make sure that you refer to it. Another thing is always consider the question, always consider the mark allocation. Example, a question out of 15 marks versus a question out of 30 marks. The effort that you would put into these questions would be much more different. To get 15 marks versus 30 marks. So you see, for instance, if we go back to the rubric, this one is out of 15 marks. This one is also out of 15, 15, 25. So do you see this question is much more longer. So please always make sure that you refer to you look at the mark allocation just to give you an idea of how much effort you need to put in. Do not make the mistake of just sticking to the questions. Do go through the rubric, please. And that brings us to the end of this assignment thing. Another thing maybe that I can show you guys, and let me close some of these. Another thing that I can show you guys is maybe the submission link. After you've done your academic declaration, submission link you just find over here. Please, guys, ensure that you submit in a timeliest manner so that you can work on your assignment. If there are any questions, this is the time for you to say them. Otherwise, that is all from my side. I see it is a pretty quiet up in here. Cody says no questions from him. Thank you so much, Cody. All the best for the assignment. And that's due in what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks time. Yeah, thank you too, sir. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, somebody else joined us. Jeremy, what's up? That's all I got for you guys. Jeremy, I think it was you last time who were saying you needed advice on the assignment. Have I covered everything that you need for assignment 2?
Yeah, no. Yes, you did cover everything.
Okay, thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming to this national support session, guys. All the best for the assignment. On the week of the assignment, we probably will not have a lecture because I know how these things go. You guys would be focusing on the lecture. But yeah, I am available on email. I am available last week. Sorry, I was off sick for about a week. I was actually on leave for about a week, the week of the long weekend. I was on leave on that week, and then when I had to come back, then I fell sick. So you can hear in my voice, I'm not sounding like my usual self, but I still am me. Yeah, so I was just a bit sick and kind of, it took me a while. I don't know, this flu, hey guys, please don't catch the flu. My advice to you is don't catch the flu because it takes forever. It takes forever to heal. So yeah, man, that was me. So I was a bit slow and sluggish in my response to you guys, but I'm still there. If you need anything, definitely email me. That's it from me. Okay. Bye-bye.